2021. I now call this San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting to order at 5:30. Our first item on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance. All rise, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our roll call.
Bob Garza, present.
Nikki Ibarra, present.
Marco Villegas, Commissioner President.
Arturo Guajardo Jr.
Neto Guajardo, President.
Ben Arjona.
Present, sorry. And then Ramirez, present.
Item is number 4, public comments. Ms. Martha? Nobody registered for public comments, so we'll move on to item number 5, our director's report. Mr. Arjona?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman of the board and board members. Just a quick update. As you all know, last week we had a visit over to Austin, Texas. We visited some offices. 2 of those were offices of the U.S. Economic Development Administration, which is the EDA. And we visited with a gentleman in reference to Mr. Jorge Ayala, in reference to maybe some good opportunities here in the city of San Juan as to a possible EDA grant. We proposed 3 different places or projects. However, we need to do a little bit more work on them. The only one that will qualify is the one that on Carroll Road and First Street. We pitched that one. We pitched the one by City Hall. Obviously, the municipal buildings don't qualify as an anchor. And even if it's going to be spurring a development, economic development, he did say that it's not a qualifiable anchor. He did say that the one over by Carroll and First Street is very doable. It's just that we need a commitment letter from whoever's going to be anchoring in that place. Now, we do have those 3 businesses coming up, but the infrastructure is there already. If there was ever to be a hotel development in that area, then the infrastructure obviously has to be increased in size. So that'll be a doable project. However, we need a commitment letter from the people if somebody's building at this point. At this point, they're not. So we're going back to square one, looking for other opportunities, other places that we can actually submit an EDA grant for that particular properties. We had a good talk with the gentleman. Apparently, there's a lot more money than before. He did say that there's more opportunities, but it's going to be more competitive. So having said that, he gave us good hopes. It's just that we need a good anchor to apply to the EDA grant. And the sooner the better. Most definitely, the sooner the better. Right. So we probably better get on the ball quick if we want to go after identify something that will qualify, and also with a business that will be coming down to San Juan.
President, quick question here. So on this report, the bottom line, going in with a commitment letter for a project is what's going to anchor the application or the process? Is that how it works?
Yes, sir.
And obviously, the 3 projects that you presented, we didn't have a commitment letter for each project, right?
Projects?
You said you presented 3 projects and the
Yes,
only...
no.
Okay. There was no commitment letter for any business coming in. So is that the only way to kind of take advantage of the EDA, or is there another way to take advantage of this EDA opportunity?
That's the only way that we can take advantage of that EDA grant. Now, there's some other NOFOS opportunities, which is notices of funding opportunities, that were also discussed, that will be coming down up here the pipe pretty quick. One of them is economic adjustment assistance. The other one is travel and tourism and outdoor recreation. We have Build Back Better Regional Challenge and statewide planning research, along with what they call the Good Jobs Challenge. When we visited with him, he told us about those 6 opportunities. Obviously, one of them that I did not mention because it's indigenous communities who wouldn't qualify for that. But the other ones, the other 5, Hollis is already looking into it to see what is it that we may be able to apply for. There's 5 different opportunities. Mr. John Pankratz, hello, sir. There's 5 opportunities that we may be able to qualify. besides the EDA grant. This is EDA still, but the EDA grant that we're used to applying for, like the one at Lexus.
Additional to the grant we've been utilizing before?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Those are additional, they just
So-
came out.
The reason why I bring that up is because, did you all present this to anybody up there in Austin?
No, that was not
The
a,
Downtown revitalization phase, mix-up,
and as a matter of
mixed-use
fact,
project?
there was a topic of discussion with Mr. Ayala, which is on the EDA. Obviously, that one doesn't qualify because there's no anchor that they can anchor to, like on the EDA program.
That's exactly why I was referring to, where I was asking, are there other options? Because we've been doing we've been concentrating on downtown revitalization as a priority project. So obviously, the EDA comes into play with a business anchoring and bringing in the EDA. But are there other opportunities out there for us to
And I think-
take advantage for the downtown
think-
revitalization?
Yes, I think the one that may qualify on that one is a travel and tourism, that may qualify for that, the downtown revitalization.
As I'm looking at the table of contents on this, we have Section 8 funding mechanism. I'm guessing it covers their grant funding sources. But, okay, thank you, Mr. President.
The other office that we visited was, and maybe it'll apply for this other one, this is a Texas Small and Rural Community Success Fund Program, better known as the Texas Leverage Fund. They changed the names.
Possibility of getting private, type of P3 types to maybe add it onto that?
No, what I was referring to was, in their trip to Austin, to take this prepared, plan and, utilizing what was put together, because they have a section here on funding mechanism, and I was
I'm so
trying to
sure never
find
know.
through which offices or,
In other words, it doesn't state it, yeah.
well, no, I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure it's in there. I just needed a little bit more time to look. I found section 7, but if we look at section 8, I'm thinking if this would have been presented to Mr. Ayala, he probably could have given us a better guidance on what office, state office we need to be talking to. Here you go, grant funding resources. So I was just hoping that this was utilized in Austin. But in addition to that, the Texas Leverage Fund, I think that's been used here in our city before. The Texas Leverage Fund, we've used it here before.
That we used before.
But that's more of a loan, right?
That's more of a loan.
Yes.
That's the one that, the formula that they use, and this is what, the other office that we spoke to was the governor's office. And this is what the one where you qualify based on your sales tax. And based on the sales tax, the last time that the city or the EDC got some monies was based on the sales tax of maybe 2015, 2014, where the city or the EDC qualified for 3.1 that we may be in a better position currently. We may be able to qualify for additional funding or monies. She did say that when we spoke to the lady, they're supposed to send us a formula to calculate the amount of sales tax that we generated last year. And based on that formula, they'll be able to tell us how much money we're able to get for this, for the Texas Small and Rural Community Success Fund Program. For that
How long
funding.
does that take usually, more or less? I mean, you're waiting on that?
As far as getting the
I mean,
formula,
The estimate, yeah.
we already got the formula.
We already have the formula?
The office of Mr. Raleigh.
Our sales tax have been pretty,
Increasing,
we've been up on them?
yes.
We've been up, well, what, 20% or 10? Good, okay.
Commissioner, if you turn to page 48, I found the entities that I was referring to, well, I was thinking of.
48.
Yeah, page 48 will tell you the entity of the Texas Historical Commission. That is one that could have been visited, or maybe we should make plans to visit. The Federal Transportation Administration, American Recovery Act, National Park Services, U.S. Department of Transportation, U.S. Department of Justice. That's on 49, page 49. So it has a breakdown, the Texas Parks and Wildlife. Page 48 to 50 has those agencies that we should also be considering.
look at all our options.
Who else went along with you all, Mr. Arjona?
Pardo, myself, and Mr. Rutledge.
Rutledge, Mr. Rutledge.
I mean, basically, well, we have the line of communication still, and he's looking into it. We've submitted everything we needed to submit. Okay, so we'll just, I guess what we need to do is just make sure that we're on top of it and make sure make sure that we have that line of communication, so we don't get beat to it,
No.
everybody's competing
No,
for
but
these
he
funds,
told-
and
he
so
told
we're on
it.
top of it, our stuff's submitted, but, that's,
Yeah.
we're right where we need to be.
Well, he told us right out the bat, they got more money, except they divided in 6 categories. We only qualify for 5. And he said, you need to look which one of you are winning. You can apply for all 5 of them, but it all depends which one you really, he said, start with the one you need the most, and then go second on the one less, and less.
And the reason behind it is because there's a matching funding.
That's a matching fund.
So if it's a $500,000 grant, then maybe a $250,000 matching, or maybe more. So that's what they're saying, you may want to prioritize and elevate it in the sense that, right.
So those categories mentioning right now, like tourism, that's all under the
One of
EDC?
them.
That's one of the categories.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Those are some of the categories that.
You didn't list them on this agenda, right?
No, it's on a separate printout. It's the Economic Adjustment Assistance, Travel, Tourism, and Outdoor Recreation, Build Back Better Regional Challenge, Statewide Planning, Research and Networks, and the Good Jobs Challenge. Well,
Each one, could encompass a lot different things if you get creative with it.
they're very vague in the way that it's worded, but once you click on their link, it's very detailed. I don't know if you had a chance to actually review those NOFOs?
I've reviewed a few of them. I haven't been able to get a real in-depth review, but they do have their own stipulations for each one.
This is Mr. John Pancras from Hollis Rutledge's office.
So what is our plan?
Our plan is what they're doing is currently working is looking at every single one of them, and then what they're gonna do is they're gonna submit a report to see what is it that the board is looking into maybe going after.
So you're doing that work already, so you're gonna come back to us and let us know you qualify for this, you don't for that, basically. Is that where we're at right now? Right,
So we
correct?
kind of need to work with them, telling them, okay, we've got this property and this is what we're thinking
Or we
about.
want
We've got
this, or
this, or we
that,
want
no?
this, or we've got, right?
As a board.
The downtown revitalization, they can go off that, the plan.
With that in mind, right, the downtown revitalization, you already know some of our wish list, so to say. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Mr. Arjona, it sounds like for every one you described, for those 5, there has to be an anchor in each one. Like for the EDA, you have to have a business, a
Right.
letter of commitment. For the rest, I'm pretty sure you either have to have the property, you have to have a project already in place. In order for your application to be considered as priority, you would have to have some investment in it already, unless I'm mistaken.
Is that the way it goes, or a plan, so to say?
So we would have to have a plan. Like I said, I have to get real depth in each one. It's just been kind of reading over it right now. But I will meet with the next week to have I don't want to tell you guys something to be certain about.
Something about this commission, that when we get that information back, to quickly decide as a board this is our plan, this is what we want, and then from there, give it right back to you.
One last question. All of those are matching grants?
For the most part that I read, yes, sir.
They're all matching grants? It's not 100%
No.
money free? Okay.
For the most part, the ones that I read, yeah, they're all matching grants. Now, some of them may be in kind, some of them may be monetary, property. So it all depends on which is a grant that we may be at the most interest for the EDC to apply for.
So would it be safe to say, Mr. President, to have this listed as either under reports or item for discussion for next meeting?
Sure. I don't think that's.
We'll do this, we'll have Mr. Rutledge come over, and Mr. John Pancras, and maybe elaborate on every single one of them, and see
Is that right
what,
with you? I agree.
what it entiles to, and is there a matching, is there an in-kind, whatever the case may be, and we can go through all of them. For the next meeting, in a couple of weeks.
Okay, anything else on your report, Mr. Juan?
Yes, I just wanted to say that GW Barbecue has already been open for business. They opened up last Wednesday. It was a total success. I think by the time that Mr. Guajardo wanted to get some brisket, it was already sold out. And it must have been like around 6 más o menos, Mr. Guajardo? So it was around 6 in the afternoon that he went by and it was already sold out. He opens from Wednesday through Sunday. They're closed Monday and Tuesday. But they're prepping for the following days. They're still there, though. I'm sorry? Yes, sir.
We ordered lunch there for our office, this week, or last week, I'm sorry, and it was good.
It was good. Actually, it's real good. Yes. It doesn't compare, not to say anything bad about any of the other barbecue places, but it doesn't compare to the one in Olana in FAR. This is by far the best one that I've tasted, guys. So really. The next one that I wanted to share with you is the sales tax report that we have. Inside your packet, I created a small little spreadsheet. And I just wanted to show you some values or numbers that since 2018-19 as to what the gross has been as of now. And if you look at it, we have about from 2018-19, we were budgeting about $980,000 for the budget here at the EDC. This fiscal year, we budgeted $1,098,000. So there's always been a little bit of a growth, and actually we've been very conservative because of the specifics on the monies on the sales tax. However, this year, if you look at the last one, which is the one that we just received, was $125,284 that came in as a sales tax to the EDC. That's probably the second highest. Yeah, the second highest, because the highest one was in April. However, for the next fiscal year, if you notice that first column, it says $109,667. That's what we're looking at, estimating that's how much money we're going to be getting on a monthly basis for sales tax. Now, it may be a little bit more, and as you can see, the growth is there, and that's something that once we go into the new budget, that's the number that we're going to be utilizing, which is $1,316,000, and that's rounded it off. If you multiply the sales tax, it's a little bit over the $1,316,000, but we rounded it off to $1,316,000 for the estimated sales tax for next fiscal year. From last year to this year, we're about $217,000 increase. If we were to close with what we had estimated at this month, last month of this fiscal year, at $91,542 coming into the EDC, we'll be ahead $165,492 from our estimated sales tax. So actually, we're doing real good when it comes to the sales tax.
You have an estimated at the bottom of the column, and you have estimated on top of the column.
1,000, and then I have an estimated 1.316. That's total sales tax, estimated.
Well, that one is exact because that's what it came out to, but the other ones, look at the next one, is 198, and you had it estimated at 91.
That's about rounding it off. So the system runs off the $1,098,000. If you multiply the 91,542 times the 12, it comes about just about that, $1,098,000. And we're not rounding up the numbers by the EDC numbers, it's by the cities. So the total amount of the city that we have, we divide that by 4, and this is the numbers that we get here. But if you look at the numbers on the very bottom, we went from $1,009,000 all the way to $1.2 total sales, EDC sales tax for this fiscal year, which we did very well compared to last year and compared to what we had estimated. No, as a matter of fact, August, we're just estimating that number, 91,542. Yes.
At our yearly budget, right?
The budget, if you look at it, it's at the estimated $1,098,504 That's what we estimate on the budget. So this coming year's budget is gonna be at 1.316. So we're gonna increase it by 7%, and that's what we usually do from one year to the other.
Start working on the budget.
As a matter of fact, we're starting tomorrow, and then at the next meeting, we're gonna present it to you guys to see if there's anything that may need to be added or changed or deleted, whatever is needed.
So by next meeting will be the preliminary or the?
Preliminary. No, it'll be preliminary.
Back to GW Barbecue. Are we gonna do anything for them? A grand
Yes.
opening or?
As a matter of fact, I spoke to him last week, and he did say he wanted to wait maybe a week or 2 weeks before he does the ribbon cutting grand opening. Yes, sir. And then the other one is the calendar events, which is right there in front of you. The only thing that we have coming is on the 28th, which is the Fishing for Hope. Louis Backyard, South Padre Island. It's something that you already sponsored, so good luck for those fishermen that are going to be out there. Yes, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Questions, comments for Mr. Arjona? For the record, Commissioner Lenny Sanchez has joined us. Okay, we'll move on to item number 6. 6.1 is discussion and possible action on downtown revitalization plan.
In front of you, the little booklet, so that we can go over and get familiarized as to what was on this particular plan, what it entails to, and what the plan is. And then from here, we just need a dialogue as how we discussed it at the last meeting.
That should be the plan, right? So as we discussed last time, I think we were all in agreement that this study that was done back, whatever it was, 8, 9, 10 years ago, was done very well, was put together very well, and this should be a good starting point for us to take off from there, and rather than go back to square one. We asked the staff to prepare copies for each one of us, that way we could take home with us, read it, and continue to, learn from this study, and then bring back ideas and feedback as to where we want to go with this.
Or tweak, the times have changed and stuff like that, but necessarily to read it, just get familiar with it.
That's correct. So, and this item will be on the agenda again next time we meet, which is on September the 7th. So hopefully by then, we'll have a little bit more knowledge based on this study, and then we can continue to move forward.
Full reports from each one of us?
Everybody's got one. Yes, we'll expect the full report from each one
Pass or
of
fail,
you.
pass or fail. September, is that 7th?
September the 7th is our next meeting. Fair enough? Okay. Then we'll move on to item 6.2, which is consider approval of a budget amendment to increase the San Juan Economic Development Corporation line item special projects in the amount of $10,000 and decrease line item promotional expenses in the amount of $10,000 for the fiscal year 2020, 2021.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, this is the monies that is needed to allocate monies to cover the commitment with GDW. So as you know, those monies were not budgeted, so we need to make a budget amendment to it.
Motion.
Motion to. And a second, to approve the $10,000 move on our budget. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Next item is 6.3, discussion and possible action on approving Hollis Rutledge and Associates August 22 contract. 2022 contract.
Yeah, this is just the contract approval for consideration. It's,
Contract there before us. Historically, we've discussed them in executive session, come back and act. Is that the way you want to do it, or you want to just do it right now? How does the board wish to do it?
It's usually a renewal, right, process?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, we're all
I'm okay.
satisfied with what they've been doing for us and stuff.
I'm okay.
Okay, so we've got the contract that's being proposed. Yes, it's on tab number 6, or what is it? Two?
Actually, right after two, which is on top of three.
Right, tab number 2. And we do have a representative from Hollis and Associates with us. If we've got any questions for him, or do you want to say anything? Would you like to?
Mr. Pancras here just replaced Mr. Frank Sammartini. I know some of you are familiar with Mr. Sammartin. He left to Waco. So Mr. Pancras came back to the office and helping out Mr. Rutledge. Very well knowledgeable on these particular items. And yes, there's a status report there. There's some other offices that we visited during the trip to Austin. They were more for city, Texas Water Development Board, and the Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Parks and Wildlife Department,
Yes.
that's under the city?
Yes, sir.
You going after that grant? Or- Oh, good.
That one we need to
October 1st.
It was a little bit difficult to get to some of these offices because of the fact of COVID. Especially like the one at Texas Water Development Board, we were there, nobody was there actually. So we had to call and somebody came down from upstairs when we visited Mireya Low and the Commissioner Jackson, I think. And they came over and walked us up there because there was nobody working. But it was a good visit though anyways.
I want to make a motion to continue with Roger Rutledge.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to renew the contract as received in our packets. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Congratulations, look forward to continuing working together. Our next item is 7, listed as executive session. Thank you. The San Juan Economic Development Corporation will convene an executive session in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Vernon Statutes and Codes Annotated, Government Code Chapter 551.071. The time is 5:59. Do I have a motion? So move. Got a motion and a second to go into executive session at 5:59. It is 6:52 and we are reconvening this San Juan Economic Development Corporation meeting. There is no action to be taken out of our executive session discussions. With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned.
Ladies and gentlemen, these books,
Yes.
y'all gonna take them home, but make sure September the 7th is our next meeting, bring them so we could
Come prepared.
Yeah.
You're all gonna do a presentation.
presentation.
Hey, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.